Congratulations, you, random citizen on Kiavir or Deliverance, you have been selected to join the most prestigious of the Space Marines, the most avian of the Angels of Death, the Raven Guard. But there are some questions that might pop up with this. What's your career path gonna look like? What kind of training you gonna go through? How's that gene seed gonna treat you? How many birds do you gotta catch? How many birds you gotta pretend to be? How stealthy do you wanna be? A lot of these questions, which I'm gonna answer for you today. So the first thing to keep in mind when it comes to joining the Raven Guard is that gene seed is in very short supply, but also really unstable. So the Raven Guard are very careful to give it to the right people. So prepare for some weird and very intensive initiation procedures. In fact, there are like 3 specific trials you go through. These trials being the trials of the Watcher, Justice, and the Wraith. But first, one that's kind of memed upon, you gotta catch a bird. This is joked about, but like legitimately, hear me out. So the task here is there is a native bird, like raven, that lives on Kiavir that you need to sneak up on, catch with your bare hands, and then snap its neck to go return to like your masters. Which then actually, those like bird skull totems on Raven Guard, that's this bird. It's a native bird to Kiavir. Now, for people that make fun of this, try sneaking up on a bird. Just if you're walking out one day, like out and about, if you just see a bird, try sneaking up on it. It's impossible. It's a really monumental task, so I think this is impressive. And then those 3 trials I talked about. The first one, Trial of the Watcher, is you're dropped into like the ganglands of Kiavir and told to just go do some random odd job stealth missions. With limited intel, they just kind of airdrop you in and then feed you jobs to do. Genuinely, this is just a Hitman level. Like if you played Hitman, that's all this is. The second one is the Trial of Justice, where you're sat down and given moral questions and hypotheticals while a librarian is probed into your brain to test if you're lying or just saying what the instructors want to hear. So while you're answering this like 5-step trolley problem, if you lie once, you are killed on the spot. Because you gotta make sure that your morality actually lands in line with Corvus Corax and his sense of justice, because that's very important for the Raven Guard. Literally their origins are a slave uprising against their oppressive masters. That's a thing to live up to. And then lastly, the Trials of the Wraith, where you're dropped in the Badlands of Kiavir, and you have to make a 199-mile trek in 3 days with no food, no water, nothing. And as well, there are some horrifically bad predators that live in this land. You gotta sneak past them. You gotta make that entire 199-mile trek unseen. So good luck. But congratulations, you finally passed all these trials, so now we can slap the gene seed into you, which comes with its own problems. So the gene seed is mega degraded, and really short supply like I said, because after Istvan 5, the Raven Guard lost most of their numbers. Like, they still haven't recovered, and due to Corvus Corax trying to kind of undo this problem with tampering with the gene seed, it's a little rough. So you're actually missing out on 2 organs. Sorry, you're not going to be able to survive the vacuum of space, and you don't have acidic spit anymore. And as well, the first of the gene seed defects, as this gene seed is inside, your hair is going to start to darken, and your skin's going to start turning like white, like pure bleached bone white, like sickly World of Warcraft never looked at the sun white. That's the first of many. It gets worse, because the other one you can get is something known as the Sable Brand, which is a fun method of battle madness where you stop being able to determine the voices of the dead and the living, so just you have a lot of voices whispering in your head telling you to do certain things, and as well really kind of promoting you to do some pretty crazy things and stop trying to fight with this sense of self-perseverance. Just throw yourself at the enemy willy-nilly, carve them up. It's like a diet Black Rage from the Blood Angels. Especially so because this is actually reversible. Because this isn't permanent, you will just recover at some point. However, you might get experimented on if this happens to you, so keep that under wraps. And even more, there's actually a little bit of personality degradation that can happen. As a Raven Guard, this is a chance it could occur, where in 3 stages, you will just start becoming more and more antisocial. Because Corvus Corax, love the guy. Great Primarch. Solon emo bastard. Like, look at him. His final word was nevermore. You're gonna fit that personality. To the point where at first, when it's really setting in, it's more of the idea of my teammates don't know what's happening. You start to disagree with other people, and you just kind of don't want to talk. You stick more to the shadows. You just only talk when you need to, until eventually, under more and more stages, it turns into full-blown lone wolf maverick, standing on his own. I can't trust anyone but myself. And to that point, it is like full-blown disobedience to your commanding officers. Like, I don't play by those rules. I guess there's something to aspire to if you really just want to be the maverick guy who needs a turn in his badge character archetype. And hopefully you can deal with those GNC defects, but now it's what kind of battle are you going to be doing? What tactics do you choose? So a method of dealing with the antisocial build-up for the Raven Guard is Corvus Corax developed the Trifold Path of Shadow, which the 3 points are ambush, stealth, and vigilance. So what kind of tactics do you want to go for? Do you want to be hit and run, sneakier White Scars with full-on jump pack trooper with giant claws jumping in from the trees? Do you want to sneak into enemy lines, backstab the commander without anyone noticing? Or do you want to be a sniper team that is set up in the perfect spot and you've been waiting for that perfect shot for weeks? Whichever one you want, go wild. Every single thing works for the Raven Guard and will determine what company you get put into and the tactics you employ. As well, there are a few other fun techniques you can learn, like a fun thing known as wraith slipping, where you learn stealth is such an element where you're like undetectable. You're not literally moving through shadows, but damn sure seems like it. And as well, you move completely silently. Want you to notice that. This 7-foot tall giant in giant battle armor makes no noise. That's insane. Cool. It's a mix of the specific armor they use and a lot of training. Or you could learn the Raven Guard's special language, their form of battle cant, which is the noises of wind, leaf rustling, and bird calls, to where you can be literally in the middle of an enemy camp, hidden in a barrel, talking to your buddy next to you. And all they're like, man, it sure is windy today, as they're all walking around your barrel. It's one of my favorite Raven Guard facts, to be honest. I adore that. That is so stupid. But yeah, that's the Raven Guard. Hopefully you serve a big, long career, which actually, fun little fact here, you actually have some pretty serious upward mobility in the Raven Guard, unlike other chapters, because specifically right now, the chapter master, K. Van Shrike, doesn't like the job. He is unhappy. He is not worthy in his own eyes. He is one of the cooler chapter masters, though. Don't tell him I said that. So specifically, if you can work your way up to captain, you'll eventually be led into more of like a strike force sent out in the galaxy, and all you gotta do is do something so cool and so badass that he promotes you to his position, so we can go back to Third Company, where he just wants to go murder orcs and save the Imperium, because that's genuinely all the man wants. So I guess you could be the one to relieve him of that. Good job. But yeah, that's it. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff, join my membership, and see ya.